She's in Kingston, Jamaica. Yes.
Yeah.
Our second guest for Hazy Not Crazy hails from Kingston, Jamaica. Awesome woman. She's 32, has had epilepsy since she was 3 years old.
But not
And
diagnosed until 26, I
there
think.
you go. And her
Right.
favorite color changes due to every season of how she feels.
I like
And
that.
she's obsessed over anything with an olive green aesthetic. So,
Right now, that's
yeah.
the color of choice. Come on, Nathan. You got to get into a female mind. Well, not only female, but I get
And
I get the army camo green thing. It's a
there you
good
go.
one.
That makes sense. And then she enjoys doing nothing and being on a beach on the weekends, which I
Yeah.
probably would too if I was in Kingston, Jamaica.
Sounds like a
Vanessa.
lot of fun.
Oh,
Hi,
yes.
Hi. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yay.
this is me
It's
getting
just one of those
frustrated.
days.
We've made it.
I tell you, can you guys hear me properly?
100%.
Okay, because I have a mic too, but I'm not like holding it.
That's
Oh,
I wish I wasn't holding this one either, but
yeah. We
we
were
can
talking
hear you
about,
perfect.
we can hear you perfectly, Vanessa. And thank you so much for joining us. We were talking about getting another microphone so you could see, our faces versus just holding this block. But,
Get the
um,
get the ones that you pin on your body.
oh, yeah, like a lavalier.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good. See, yeah. I mean, clearly it only took us 55 minutes for me to get everybody on here, one
I was
step
just
at a
like,
time.
well, it
See?
worked when you guys weren't on.
Oh man, I feel like we've been through a really traumatic experience together, guys.
Yeah.
How are we holding up? How have you been dealing with this stress during this time of connection, guys?
You
Not
think
well.
after 2 years we'd like get it?
Oh man, I'm so
Oh.
happy. Vanessa, welcome to Hazy Not Crazy. How are
Hi, thank
you?
you for having me. I'm okay. Um, I'm fine.
Oh,
That's the most I can give right now. Is just I'm doing okay.
okay, perfect. I mean, so I remember actually seeing, so this was probably 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, Vanessa. I came across an epilepsy hashtag video on Instagram where you were talking about epilepsy. It was a brief video. And I
Mm.
started following you and then cut to past COVID, still during COVID. Shannon and we want to do this podcast. And I reached out to you, which you're now in Kingston, Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to learn a little bit about your story. And you shared with us about epilepsy and seizures. And I think it's so cool some of the other advocacy work you've done over time that I've learned about too. So we'll talk about that. What is God? My mind is so fried from these tech issues.
Well, he gave you a great intro, Vanessa. So that was real nice. We learned a lot about you, favorite colors, things that you like to do in your spare time, and
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
not
started
much.
having seizures, when you were diagnosed, and so we're excited to talk to you a little bit more about all of that.
And
Sure.
becoming a producer, because I understand you have your own podcast too, and hopefully not as much technical difficulties as you do as I just had.
Not that much, but I'm gonna work on it. It's a lot. It's a lot happening with regards to the pandemic and just trying to find myself and what I want to do. And I feel like everybody's going through this soul searching journey. So I'm right there with them.
Oh, awesome! And what are some of the parts of your soul that you're searching? Living in Kingston. I mean, it's obviously epilepsy, and we'll talk about that later. But you're a very creative woman. I know you're a creative art director, and it seems like you do graphic design and stuff. What other parts of the soul are you searching?
Um, really and truly, my the ultimate thing for me is just working on my mental health. Um, that's something I can work on. Besides having epilepsy, I take my meds every day. and that's something that I have control over. But when it comes on to my mental health and all the fears and anxiety that I have, that's my main focus right now. So soul searching, just trying to be okay with being alone. Um, I'm not alone, but just being okay with it. Especially when you do have epilepsy and they're just like, well, anything can happen when you're having a seizure, and if there isn't anyone there, and you can have a concussion, and it can get from 0 to 100 real quick. But yeah, just trying to find myself mentally and what that looks like.
I love that, Vanessa. Uh, that's amazing. And it's such a large part of epilepsy. And it's something that I as well am super passionate about. And I think um, it needs to be something that we're focusing on more and more, for sure. I mean, not only does epilepsy physically affect our brains, but right, mentally. And um, I facilitate a support group for adults with epilepsy, and one of the big conversations is always how how do we go from day to day? Or
Yeah.
even last week it was, and Nathan was on the call last week, and I thought this was a really, we have a seizure and we feel like we have to apologize to people. I'm so sorry I had a seizure. I'm so sorry. And you feel guilty, and then the guilt can lead to, I'm depressed. I made you feel this way. I did this. I did that. And how do you not feel guilty? How do you pick yourself up? How do you make yourself feel better? How do you go from day to day? I mean, these are so many questions.
Hmm.
And what do you do? What could you tell our listeners and viewers, that takes you from one day to the next? That
Well, what I can say is that coping looks different for everyone. So, when you're on social media or whatever it is, the main things are waking up early, meditating, working out. These are just general things, journaling, stuff like that. But when it comes to real life, some of those things you aren't gonna be able to do fully. And I try to balance as much as I can. Of course, I'd love to like meditate for a half hour and feel refreshed, but sometimes I can't even stay focused for 10 minutes. So it's just taking it day by day and just remembering at some point to focus on yourself a little bit instead of just constantly going, because yeah, it doesn't look the same for everyone.
sure doesn't.
Oh, that reminded me of you made a post the other week. I commented on Vanessa about memory, and I had
Yeah.
just had a really bad seizure. It's like 6 weeks ago, and kind of I felt like it was the first time my memory was like compensated. It's like 51st dates with me, right? And can you? So
I
is
laugh because it's true. I'm not laughing at you. Because
Laughing with
my memory
you, not
sucks.
for you, not at you.
Yeah, my memory sucks, and I let people know and we laugh about it, but it really is true. Like,
have you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, yeah, I've had times where I'm so convinced about something that I've forgotten that it got so bad to the point where I started crying because at the time the medication that I was taking was contributing to it. And it's scary. Like, we laugh about it, but it is actually scary to know that you can't for the life of you remember a certain thing that you went through, or just like what happened yesterday, and these are things that people with like Alzheimer's go through, I think. Yeah, that they go through, and they're of a certain age, so you kind of understand that. But when you're in your 20s and you're in your 30s and these things are happening to you right then and there, it just feels like half of your life is missing or is compensated.
Yeah. Do you have any when you miss out on those moments, do you have any, like, I'm interested to know if you have like a mechanism to maybe try to facilitate your memory or like taking notes. You know, like that movie
Um,
Memento, the guy tattooed memories on him, or I mean nothing that
I
I don't see any tattoos,
I
but
I definitely write a lot. Like I have journals and sketchbooks like all over the place. Um, but then I definitely like forget to write. I forget to write in them, and so I use like apps on my phone. I use like the reminder. I use notes. I use a journaling app called Day One. Um, and I still forget. I still forget. It's crazy, for lack of a better word, um, how much we try, and I feel like some persons are more like harder on themselves when they try and it doesn't work out, because I did the same thing. But it's just a part of your condition. You're gonna forget things, and just don't be too hard on yourself. There's a time I called a meeting and I made everyone sign the memo, and I forgot about the meeting.
and
so, so I was late. And they're like, "We've been waiting on you." I'm like, "Why?"
oh man, was that
But
What
was
yeah,
would you say is more affected, Vanessa, your short-term memory or your long-term memory?
I think my short term memory, but like because your short term memory is affected in the long run, you won't remember what the short term memory is. So
Yep, I hear you. How about you, Nathan? What's yours?
Oh, well, this most recent case was short term. I mean, this girl was telling me about her father and her occupation and stuff. And then I remember we were talking about him the next day. And I said, I looked at her, I was like, your dad was in marketing too? You know, like it's the first time I heard it. And she looked at me like this. She went, she like didn't think, she didn't know if I was joking with her. She didn't know if I was just like, she didn't know what was going on. I was like, and I was, I was like little kid excited to hear this information
when
as
you
if it
heard it,
was brand new, but in
Yeah.
reality, it had happened now two or three times. So, I mean, that's a really interesting moment to kind of go through. I remember one time too, Shannon, I did in Vanessa, I was at work in California and I was really stressed about getting an email off. I go to
hmm
my email. I go to my sent box. I'm stressing. I'm sweating over this email, getting off this email. I look and guess, and the day before, I had already sent the email. And so I already sent the email.
why you
I was just, I
stressing?
look, I was like, what the fuck? And
Way
then
to
just,
go. It's
I
out.
just
It's safe.
smiled. But it's scary. And I admire your take on that, Vanessa, to kind of truck through. And like you said, we have to sort of laugh about these things and just to kind of, I think it's a coping mechanism. I
hmm
mean, it's a fair one. I mean, and sometimes the yeah, I mean, that's why I've always enjoyed laughter because it's really a way to again cope with things that are just abnormal or not used to you and
Well,
so
and I think,
you
Nathan,
know
that's why, you know, we developed this podcast too, and Vanessa, it's meant to be kind of an upbeat take on living life with epilepsy. And people with epilepsy know you have to be able to laugh at yourself a little bit. And in people with any other disorders or diseases, no,
Yeah.
there has to be an element of humor to get you through from day to day. And I think and you probably know this with mental health too. It absolutely is serious, but for me and for Nathan, things that have gotten through us through um, is the ability to laugh and to
Well,
say, hey, a walk team at one of our walks was named Seizure Salad. Like, I think that's pretty funny. I'm not, I mean, I like it. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's a good way to show like we're not going to take ourselves too seriously, um, because we still have this life to live. And
Yeah, and I was gonna compliment the name of the podcast because I thought it was funny. I was like, "Hazy Not Crazy," you know. I was like, "Oh, that's cute."
Uh,
Um, and it is what it is because usually, like for epilepsy, when you're doing like fundraisers and stuff like that, they host like a walkathon. And I remember I was inviting some of my friends to one that we host here, and they're like, "Oh, so why didn't you guys have a like a marathon, like a running?" I'm like, "Girl, we don't run." You know what I mean? Like,
we
we
sure
don't.
don't.
We're overexerting ourselves. We don't do that.
yeah, I feel
It's
you.
really
So
funny.
what's I know you're in some advocacy work, and I think you did a really cool event. I saw Arts for Epilepsy. I don't know when that was, but it was a. Can you?
That was 2019. That was before the pandemic because I wanted to host another one. But yeah,
Yeah, can you tell us about that event? I think, from what I read, it was
it,
about raising money for medications for, and I'm trying to get into like this epilepsy care in Kingston. I'm interested to know what that landscape looks like.
yeah. So there's a lot of politics when it comes on to having certain disorders or conditions. So you do get some help from the government for your epilepsy medications. I'm not sure about the long list of them or the different types, but when it comes on to insurance companies, if you list like a pre-existing condition, it's harder to get insurance. Like they don't want to cover you. So the medication is still a little bit higher for most people. So at the time, it was just Art for Epilepsy was just a sip and paint because they were very popular. They were like becoming very popular at the time, and I was like, I wanna host one because I know artists, um I know people, but what I didn't expect was it to be as big as it was, and that was really really great. Like I got the venue for free. I got the artist for free. I got the wine for free. I got people to work for free.
Nice.
I got the videographer, photographer for free. The only thing I really like spent on myself was the art supplies and like the renting of like tables and chairs. But it was surreal just to say, hey, this is for persons with epilepsy to get their medication. Um, how do you feel about collaborating or joining or whatever? And people jumped on board. So it was great
Oh, that's awesome.
because, yeah, we do have a really bad stigma surrounding epilepsy here because we're very religious. We're a very religious country and we're very superstitious. So, epilepsy is associated with like spirits overtaking your body and, the devil. So,
Oh, the devil dressed in red over here. There you go. Have you ever gotten
so
that?
gotten what?
Like, you're talking about it being surreal hosting this fundraiser, and then your country's a little religious and spirits. Have you ever faced any of that personally, like with that belief, or is that an everyday thing? Is that just kind of?
No, I have, but that was when I was younger. Like I said, I've been having seizures since I was 3, but I wasn't diagnosed. But throughout that time, my mom was trying to find out what was wrong with me. And persons will talk, like someone in the neighborhood, or if she's trying to explain to someone else, then they're talking about their opinions or what they think is wrong with you, and they don't have a PhD, but they're very Christian. So, it's just like or she'll grow out of it, or um there's a ghost following behind her, and if you do this they will stop, if you do that they will stop. So yeah, I have experienced it, but because I wasn't diagnosed, I didn't associate it with epilepsy. But afterwards I found out really what the comments were about.
Wow. That's that's kind of I mean, I think one of the things Nathan and I wanted to talk about was, what it's like to have epilepsy and in another country, and what does that look like? And you just gave us a really big snapshot, very clear snapshot of that. And uh, that that's amazing. I mean, and is that still happening? That's a pretty
um
ominous.
well, I've been pretty vocal about epilepsy, and when I had that event, sorry, I look away when I'm thinking. When I had that event, there was a neurologist. He's the biggest epilepsy neurologist in the Caribbean, and he was there. And we used that opportunity to educate persons who were there, and to tell them the do's and don'ts, and simple do's and don'ts. They didn't understand, they didn't know the whole shoes over the face kind of thing. And
Oh, it's
like,
shoes. It's shoes over the face.
yeah, because of the scent.
Oh, no way! I haven't heard this one yet.
Really?
Is it?
Uh-uh.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, so you
like a
smell some
smelly
stanky
shoe, like
feet to wake you
shoe.
up?
Yeah.
Oh
Really?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, see, learn something new every day.
No, I think I saw a scent, like people like those weightlifters like will do those body salts or something and take big huffs to get them energized. So I guess scent, makes
Yeah, well,
a strong scent could, I
exactly.
guess, theoretically
Like
pull you out of something.
having faint spells
Hmm.
versus having seizures is completely different. Like
Right.
for me, you have to write it out. Like if you're having a faint spell, then persons use, yeah, smelling salts. So some of them come in like small bottles. However, not a lot of people like walk with this.
Yeah.
So the next best thing would be a sticky shoe, so to speak. I
That's
don't even know
so
if I
funny.
answered your question.
I don't know, but I mean, you are just even some of those cultural bits, that are differ from place to place. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's fascinating for look at me, I can't even get my words out. I'm like, oh.
Sniff
And
a
wait,
shoe.
time's out. I
Yeah,
just
you're
want to
hazy
say,
right now.
why do I feel like I have to scratch my face all the time now because we're on the camera and I can't stop scratching my face?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's why
Like
I'm
my
like, I'm
face is
looking away because I'm
way
thinking.
more itchy in this hour than it is for the other 23 hours of the day. Just had to throw that out there. Anyway, and it's not my medicine. So I think it's fascinating to learn about the culture. And I think it's fascinating for the listeners and viewers to learn also, uh, because we're not there with you. We don't know what it's like to have epilepsy in Jamaica.
Yeah, and also like if you're coming for vacation, I mean, why not just know what the culture is here on the condition that you have?
Right. I think that's
Is that an invitation? Are we going on
I'm just
vacation?
about to be like, I'm just like, I hope you're listening.
Is that a vacation? I'm coming. Let's go. Feel
next
the
flight
rhythm.
out. I'll stop in Kentucky and pick
Here's
you
the
up,
rhythm.
Nathan, and we're going.
I'm going to my Cool Runnings, baby. I can't feel the ride. Let's
Oh,
go. I
you and
can't
Cool
wait.
Running. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I
It's
mean, what
probably the
what
only Jamaican movie Nathan has watched.
Is it? I bet it is.
it's my favorite documentary. No. that that was an amazing film. I would love to go to Jamaica. I mean, I've always dreamed about going there. And yeah, when traveling, we're going to talk to a gentleman next week who's going to Amsterdam, and we're going to talk about traveling and kind of how he prepares for that.
Yeah, I'd
With
like to hear that.
yeah, yeah, and he's going to do that. He's probably going to hit up the hash bars. I'm kidding, Matt, if you're listening, but maybe. And CB, because Vanessa, CBD is a therapeutic drug, and a little
Yeah.
THC. I don't think ever hurt anybody. I'm sure maybe Jamaica and Kingston partakes from what I've read and heard and listened to.
Yeah, well, my sip and paint was at a shop.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
Your
it
art for
was.
epilepsy, that
Yeah,
event
it
is that
was.
oh, well, there you
Oh
go.
man, we are
That's great.
definitely. When is sip and paint and puff? Is that it went 2.0 post
It's
COVID?
puff and paint.
Puff and
Sip
paint.
and paint and puff. That's a new
Yeah,
one.
But
yeah.
yeah, they're very big on CBD helping. So I think that was. I don't think that was the main reason why they they joined.
Oh, perfect.
Hmm.
That's good. I mean, you see it. I think Epilepsy Care really took the lead in terms of getting CBD, at least in the United States of America, out. I mean, I can't tell you how many conservative parents I met that, in California that were actually growing weed for their kids at a time when it was otherwise illegal and still is a Schedule One substance. And then you saw governors across the country giving the thumbs up for medical use, which is cool. So, I mean, it's a very serious thing. I know we're being funny here, but that's so cool. Puff and Paint 2022. What is it? August? Vanessa, you got an extra futon for Shannon and I? What's up?
I
It's
don't
Couches?
know.
coming.
I don't know. I don't know. Don't be one of those persons who keep asking me. So when is the next one?
Yeah. Well, that's
We can't help it. It's what we do, Vanessa. It's what we do.
so when you go you're 32, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that's what you. You don't look a
Yes.
day over. Yeah, no, but I mean, in terms of like mature relationships, like let's say you have a partner or something, and I know you're very vocal, public facing.
Hmm.
Like I think because I have a lot of questions from have gotten. I'm sorry, I've gotten a lot of questions from younger adults about that being a topic and bringing up to their partner or in how I guide that. And then I guess I just wanted to throw that question on you,
Yeah.
and if
So
and how you do handle that.
yeah, I feel like I'm very loud with everything. Why? But I do have a partner, and thankfully she was my best friend before we got together. So it made that transition easier because she knows all my drawbacks, where that is concerned, and it it's it's easier with her. However, I've in other relationships, I did not know what was going on with me. Like I said, I found out I was diagnosed when I was 26.
So not that long
So
ago, really.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I've only been in like one other relationship prior to this, and she was there for all of it. So she was understanding. So I didn't have to have this big reveal of what I'm going through, and if you're okay with it. But I still had the conversation. I still had the conversation because it made me insecure in terms of, would you still want to be with me while I'm going through this, um, especially with the anxiety that it comes with after the fact. So you have to have that talk no matter what. It whether it's like friendships. I started having the talk with the persons who I work with because no one understood. So I've had to like do workshops um in my office just in case, so that I feel safer, they feel safer, and there is those are skills that you can take on the road with you. So it's just having that conversation initially with anyone, having that conversation as an adult with your parents, you know, because even though my mom was trying to figure out what was happening to me, I found out on my own what was happening to me in my 20s. So I had to have that conversation with her.
And
Yeah.
And
how did
go
that
ahead,
go?
Nathan.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna follow up on that. You know, having with the older generation, and we were talking about these previous notions of what epilepsy is. How did that go?
How'd that go,
Yeah.
and what does that look like? A little bit. I mean, it's a different conversation probably that you have, with your
Yeah.
parents and your
Yeah.
coworkers and your partner.
I'll walk you through them.
Yeah, tell us, because I think that that's fascinating, and, you know, people don't often talk about this too much, these conversations. So I think it's a good thing. We wanna
Yeah.
hear. We wanna hear.
Um, the conversation with my partner at the time is I had a seizure in the middle of the night. It usually happens to me at night, so it makes it a little bit more scary because I wake up not knowing what's happening to me. So she was just like, okay, no, something is seriously wrong. Let's go check it out. And when I was recommended to a neurologist from my GP, I went to my mom and be like, and I told her, I'm like, hey, so you remember when I was always having these, I call them dizzy spells because, I didn't know. Um, I had one last night and it was really bad, I think. And so I'm going to a neurologist to find out more. So she was really like, okay, what should I do? Should I come? What? I was like, no, I'll find out. I'll tell you. But like when they did the first test, and I think it was I always mix it up. I think it was an ECG. Um, they did that first, and then I had to do an MRI. And she took the MRI more seriously than the ECG when I was doing it, and she was worried because she kept calling me like each time, like, when are you doing this, what are you doing this, when are the results coming out, like what's going on. But even though I was worried, I had to try and calm her down. But when I found out, and when it was confirmed, and I told her what was going on with me, first of all, she's just like, she knew, but no one gave her the confirmation when she was trying to find out. So it was just the conversation was just about like what were the next steps. And I had to be home for a bit because I was like switching between medications and I wasn't sure how it would affect me. And yeah, and even now we're still having that talk because I'm trying to let her understand my anxiety. So it's gonna always be that constant talk, so
Yeah.
to speak. With my partner at the time now, she was there for it, so I didn't have to have that talk. She was with the doctors and she did her own research because she was worried. Um, it kept on sending me like articles and stuff she has Googled, and I'm like, okay, calm
That's
down.
that's cute.
Calm down. um, and then when it came to work, I had to have that talk with, like, I had a job interview and I had to make it known during that interview that this that I have this condition. And I always got the, oh my god, how, what happens, like, so I don't, some, like, at the time I wasn't sure if it was like you genuinely want to know what's happening, or do you want to know how it's going to affect my work. you know. And yeah, I was just super like, I was in my head about it, but I'm just like, this is for my safety. So I have to say something. And there was a time where I got a job at a small printery. And on the first day, I had a seizure. The very first day, I had to be rushed to the hospital. And they told me not to come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they say why?
No, they're just like, oh, I think you should like take the time to heal and recover. Because I was rushed to the hospital, they would have to be taking tests and all of these things. So I guess, not a good first day impression, so to speak. And like I'd be on sick leave like immediately after. Um,
Who was
but
it? Should we throw him under the bus right now? Come on.
Yeah.
no,
What was the name of the place?
What was?
no,
Come on.
I, I can't. Other people work there. It's
Ah, you're
it's
right.
it's their livelihood. I wouldn't
You're
want
so
to like
nice.
shut down a complete place.
We got your back, Vanessa. We got your back.
But yeah, I've told other people who they are, but like not on a public platform. But yeah, and it took me a while to even like, they're in a mall. It took me a while to go back there, like to even walk past it, because I was just so scarred by it that I never went. Like they're close to a food court. I'm just like, no, bring the food to me. I'm not going down there.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I know the feeling of looking at a place where you've had a seizure and being scarred, and then I let alone Vanessa on the first day.
Yeah,
That's intense.
that was a thing. That was a thing, and that was like one of the few times where I've had a seizure and like I was constantly throwing up. So it was just evidential that like something is really wrong right now. And it just turned into a big thing. Like
You know.
the way I was like rushed out of the store, the office, it was just, yeah, I
Oh,
just didn't go back.
That's
can I?
well, and you didn't probably really know too many people there your first day. I mean, it's
I
scary all
I
the way around.
I didn't. Yeah, so it was just, and this is why I spent time now letting people know what's going on with me, you know, and I have to, even though it's serious, you still have to be like, look, nothing to worry about. Just if it happens, make sure that there isn't anything around me, put me on my side, make sure that my head is secure, and I'll come out of it. Here are my emergency contacts. Like, don't freak out.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, don't freak out. If it goes on for longer, then freak out. Like, but this is what I go through.
That's beautiful. I feel that that actually saved my life a couple times doing just what you do, Vanessa, teaching people around you. I woke up naked outside my apartment in LA one night, just walking the street. I like had thrown myself down the steps. My neighbors called me. Just not the
Look,
neighborhood you want to do that.
look, I've had like the aura of feeling like I'm gonna have a seizure, and I
Uh
tell
huh.
you, I straight like throw on clothes because I'm like, I'm not gonna be naked.
Yeah.
You're not gonna pull a Nathan.
Yeah. Oh, so you
Yeah,
haven't. So you have an aura. Okay. Yeah. I just go straight for it. Just tumble down 3 flights of steps, and then you know. But I'm lucky, because I think the way erratic behavior in which was described I was acting could be, easily mistaken for
Hmm.
somebody on a I don't
drunk.
know, a meth binge or something. Like I was. I was just like walking, and then kids around, like, oh my god, how embarrassing. But you know, thank goodness that I was able to talk to my friends and neighbors, and
Yeah.
they know and knew about it. I mean, I think you got it's right on. Yeah. Is there anything I'm curious to ask? Like, I've kind of opened up. One of the things we love to share on this show, we did with Saber, is if is there anything you'd be interested in publicly sharing, maybe that you haven't before, a moment sort of related, and of course you don't have to at all, but it's
I don't I don't think so.
because you seem really
I think It will
vocal to
probably
me. I feel like you're an open
it
book.
will probably come to me after we come off this, and I was just like, oh damn it.
Yeah, we'll do the follow up. No,
Yeah.
we'll
Sorry,
do the
like
follow.
this one time at band camp, you know.
Yeah, we want to hear that. What happened? Nathan fell down the stairs naked. I don't really have any.
Yeah, Shannon, what's your
No, I don't. I can't think of any. I mean, I've had a
Yeah.
couple in the shower. My brother found me. That must have been a treat for him. But
Mm.
yeah, not what your younger brother wants to walk in on
Oh,
for
I
sure.
feel like you'd have to like turn this into a drinking game to be like, well, we shouldn't really be drinking, but turn
Yeah.
it into a drinking game to be like, so I've had a seizure here, shots.
Right?
I'm writing that down right now. That's
I
actually
think
a
that's a
great
great
idea. I'm
idea.
down.
Or you could do it the other way too. Never have I ever
No,
had,
Yes,
walked naked outside while I've had a seizure.
having a seizure.
and for those who can't drink, can just take a puff. At the puff,
But see,
yeah.
at the puff and
Yes.
paint. See, it's
Look,
we're full of all sorts of
I
great
space my
ideas.
drinking out, so I'm just like, I'm on meds. I might miss one.
Wait, wait. I'm
But
sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
we'll make it a habit, kids. No, I'm saying like if I'm drinking, it's just like I plan it. It's never spontaneous.
Oh, yes. Oh, tell us about that. How do you plan it? That's
Yeah,
good feedback.
talk
That's
about
good
it.
advice.
Good advice.
I
Alcohol's a big one.
Yeah, so getting diagnosed in my 20s and then having to like be on medication for I don't know how long, and it was a experimental thing like, oh, I'm on this amount of milligrams, and oh, it's too much, so let's try a smaller dose. I've I've missed that part where be like, oh, I just want to have a drink, you know. So I've come up with my own system. So I don't have hard liquor. One, so it spans between like wine and beer, really and truly. And then because I take my medication twice a day, I would, if I'm gonna drink, I wouldn't, obviously wouldn't take it in the night.
Yeah, deal.
Then like I drink a bunch of water just to flush it out of my system. But um I never get drunk. I don't like, I no longer like the feeling of not being in control of my own body. And that's what having a seizure does to you.
Yeah.
So um I'm just like, oh, I have a glass of wine and my body feels warm right now. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Mm.
But like besides that, that's it.
It's not worth
Like,
it.
no, it isn't.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
totally feel
drink
that.
wine, Vanessa. That doesn't. I'm opposite from you. I'll stick with my vodka soda, and I don't drink
Shannon's
anything
full on
else.
Jägermeister.
hmm And I'm just saying, we're not doctors. We're not saying to do this or don't do this.
Yeah,
Like
yes.
putting that out there.
Disclaimer.
What everybody
Disclaimer.
does is their thing. And it
Don't
might
drink
not
alcohol.
necessarily work for our listeners or viewers,
Don't
but
drink.
uh, I can't drink the sugar in the wine does something to me, and it starts to make me,
Hazy.
I don't stop taking my
Hazy,
medicine. I
yeah.
stick with the meds, but it makes me a little like, well, it the medicine, I think, for whatever reason, interacts with the wine.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
well,
interact with the vodka
they
unless
said
there's
it
been like
will.
5 of them. So
They said it will. I hope your doctor isn't listening right now.
it's okay. It's okay. He knows. He knows. So I'm
Yeah,
very
I just
honest.
try not to mix it. So I'm just like, I'll pause. You know, okay.
No, I think, yeah, I think
do you
everybody has to do what works for them.
do you ever get
What do you do,
shoulder
Nathan?
problems, Vanessa, after a seizure? Like one of the my last big seizures, I like you said, I got I'm so sick of these damn things. It's like because I think a lot of times we touched about it last week. People don't realize, like for me, the next 4 days. Like
Yeah,
it takes
it's
4 days to
very
get like my
draining.
shoulder working again, and do you have like like shoulder issues or like anything? I know that's a common one, like the shoulder coming
I
out.
pretty much I'm just out. Like I'm out of it. Like don't wake me. Don't
Mm,
like I'm so tired that if my body's in pain, I wouldn't notice. I'm just really tired.
yeah.
Me too.
It's just draining for me.
Hmm. Yeah. What medicine are you on, Vanessa?
I'm on Lamictal.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, so I can
That's a
have
good
vodka
one.
soda.
We got something in common. And Depakote. I take Depakote too. It's
Yeah,
like
you can have all the vodka. Actually, vodka is a good one. I think it's actually keto friendly. I think,
Like, oh,
right?
we're on the same meds. Cool.
yes. What I don't know anything about being keto friendly. I don't think any alcohol is keto
um,
friendly, is
It's
it?
not. I don't. I'm probably butchering
Tequila.
that. It's
It's
something.
tequila.
It's one of
tequila
those.
doesn't have protein.
Sugars.
Tequila.
It's just sugar. All this extra sugar and alcohol that people drink with the alcohol. That's where the big hangovers come from.
Yeah, but there's
Mhm.
sugar in vodka. Little tiny bit,
Yeah.
but there is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it made from potatoes? Hey guys, don't you remember memory issues?
Not
Okay.
all vodka is made from potatoes, but
Don't you remember memory
You would
issues?
know. She's like, I'm the vodka expert.
Yeah.
well, you know how I know this? This is like a funny side story. So my best friend um we were all in Vegas and we
I
were
see where.
all, having a good time and whatever, drinking our vodka sodas. And next thing you know, you look over at her and she's just got welts all over her neck. And we're at some club somewhere and she's just breaking out in welts.
So
And
what
I
is she
looked at her, I'm like,
allergic to?
Lori, what's going on? And she's like, what? And I showed her and they took us to I showed the people and they ushered her back to the kitchen and had her sit down. Turns out she was allergic to the vodka. It's potato vodka. So she can't drink potato vodka, which I believe is Belvedere is potato vodka. There's a shout out to Belvedere, but boom boom. But she's allergic. So isn't that funny? She can drink regular but not potato or she could. So I thought that was really a random thing. Never
Yeah.
heard of
Fun
that.
fact.
Who knew?
That's our
Only
one
because
time.
we brought it up, you know. Who else has a potato vodka story, really?
No one else.
I
No one.
don't.
No one. My friends are just allergic to like pumpkin and garlic. Weird.
Oh, so they
Really?
can't have
I've
pumpkin
never even
spice
heard that.
lattes?
No,
Oh,
nor
that
garlic,
sucks.
nor like anything Italian.
Oh
Oh
my gosh.
man. Yeah,
Those are
nothing
like the
Italian.
best foods ever.
Right?
Ah, I would be, I don't know, devastated. What's your
So,
favorite food, Vanessa?
yeah, I was gonna say,
Like,
I'm a sushi girl
oh,
through and
yeah,
through.
that sounds good. I'd
wasabi
go
and
for some
all.
right now. No.
Yep. I just need like a sushi station in my kitchen and I'll be golden.
Oh, that sounds. Yeah, I love sushi too. That sounds amazing. What other? I just want to. I guess a couple other questions I had for you. We talking been a lot about epilepsy and being hazy, not crazy. Um,
Hmm.
what's something people don't know about you that they think they'd be interested to learn?
Oh,
You know?
I wish you had asked me this before so I can think on it.
Okay, that'll be a part of the follow up too. So you owe me two questions. We'll do a follow up in a couple weeks,
um,
Vanessa.
what do people not know about me? I mean, I'm pretty like I'm pretty funny, but I
Yeah.
think people know that about me. Um, I think I'm hilarious. I was just like, I think I could do stand up,
I love
you
it. That was
know.
hilarious.
But I don't know. I like to try different things. Um, so and when I try things, I share it. So it's never like a big secret as to, oh, this is a hidden skill or talent that
Yeah,
that I may or may not possess. But yeah, I don't. Hmm, I don't know.
that'll be up on the follow up. Um, I
I
can't
want
thank
to
you.
know, like, what are some of these hidden skills and talents? That's really what I'm more interested in.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Well, I did do fashion design for a little bit, so
Oh.
I'm fairly skilled at sewing. Haven't done it in a minute, but yeah. Um, I um, hmm, I'm very good at math.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
Rain Man
like it.
style.
Yeah.
Wow. That's my daughter needs a tutor.
Yeah, there you
You can
go.
do all things virtual these days.
Well, Vanessa,
Yeah, I actually really like math. But I've never like sat on it and be like, huh, maybe I should take up a career in it because it's yeah, no. But yeah, every time somebody's like, so I'm like, what number is that? What percentage? Oh, yes, I'll figure it out.
oh, nice. That's handy. I bet you that comes in handy all the time.
Super.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean, geez, I wish I had that talent. Um, Vanessa, I can't thank you enough for coming on and joining us for a
it
conversation.
was fun.
Yeah, did you have fun?
I did have fun.
Yeah, this was so cool. I mean, just social media. I can't. I remember like it was yesterday seeing that video. I thought it was so cool. This woman from Jamaica was like sharing her story just on her personal Insta, and I thought that was really cool. And I'd been thinking about you a lot when Shannon and I were doing this, and I thought we both agreed that it'd be really special to have you on and share some of your background, your interests, your talents, and then because we both know and realize underneath all that, there's a whole nother world that you're having to kind of combat when it comes to mental health and not stressing for seizures. And so I really
Yeah.
appreciate you opening it up today and sharing that. And I'm gonna go ahead and thank you in advance when you come back on, so we can follow up on those
I
two
was about to
stories.
ask, I'd be like, can I
Yeah, I
come
can't
back?
wait. I can't wait to hear
Yeah,
those
yeah. There's not gonna be
stories.
40
Come back.
minutes of technical difficulties. Like, sorry.
Oh,
But
Um,
like,
yeah.
I
Thank you
know.
so much,
Let me just
Vanessa.
use
It
the
was so
computer.
much fun.
Thank you so much, guys. It was. I haven't spoken in a while about anything really, so this has just been a nice pace from persons who don't understand. You know.
oh, cool. Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Um,
And there
well,
are a lot of them for sure.
There are a lot of them. Even my
Too many.
therapist.
well, we
Yeah.
should do this
And that's
again,
why
but
we're here, trying
we
to,
sh-
educate and enlighten.
Yeah. Next time I want to see like 50 screens and we're all talking and be like, "Excuse me, okay, you go ahead."
yeah.
I like it.
We'll
Perfect.
do the maybe we can do a virtual puff and sip with 50 screens. There you go.
Can you
Puff
get
and paint.
weed?
Yeah,
Sorry,
of
can you get
Yeah.
course.
marijuana?
You can
Yeah.
say anything you want.
We call it here
Our
in the we
motto is epilepsy is not filtered, so neither are we.
Oh, okay.
I
So
think
we
you
are
can
wide
get.
open here.
I
It's
think you
like,
get.
neither is weed. Epilepsy isn't filtered, and neither is weed.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
you
go.
Yeah.
said.
That's me. T-shirt, t-shirt. We got to get a t-shirt.
That's I think
Oh, tell me when your merch is out.
We're
yeah, we
working on
will.
it. We
Yeah.
will.
Um, we can have. Well, just to back to your question, yeah. I mean, here we call it the bluegrass. Okay, bluegrass state. But I don't know. It's just I think it's available everywhere. It's just it's gonna be it's legal in Virginia now. Um, I know, which is interesting to note. But
Yeah,
I
I was
did.
in Virginia once.
What's that?
I was in Virginia once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you know.
I know a little bit.
There you go. Well, thank you. I mean, so much. We'll give you a shout out and also for those who want to follow Vennessa on Instagram, we'll leave those, notes and links in the bio and check out her podcast, The Pink Door, which we didn't get to.
The
And
pink with a Y.
is that what it's the pink with a Y, right?
Yes.
PYNK?
Yep.
EYNK.
And that's yeah, I think we all know what that is. That's awesome.
It's on
And
Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud. Yeah.
oh, cool. Well, that's so cool. And then we'll get into that and some other questions on next time because you still owe me two. So this is we're definitely
Um,
on.
come up with 10. I'll answer all of them.